a brand new Monday here for us on The Breakfast Club as well. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor here in Mumbai.
And I'm Toya Singh joining you live from here in New Delhi. We've got an action-packed show as we always do ahead for you in the next few minutes. First though, let's take a look at everything we have today. So we're starting the day by celebrating World Earth Day 2024, a yearly wake-up call to protect our planet's future. This is the day to shake out of our complacency, to get out there. And 2024, we're focusing on the theme of planet versus plastics. On TBC, we're going to remind you, let's take care of our pale blue dot.
Also on World Earth Day, we bring you a special message from Sadhguru for the viewers of The Breakfast Club and Network 18.
We are not just earthed, we are the earth, and the soil that we walk upon and the body that we carry are not different, the same thing. Saving the earth, saving soil is
Cigarette waste cycling in India. Every year, more than 100 billion cigarette butts get dumped in the landfills of India. But what if we told you that cigarette butts can be recycled to make soft toys and even clothes? A special report coming up.
Beat the heat with Chef Singh Upadhyay. Remember, we love to tell you the different home hacks you can do, and this is yet another one, a summer special recipe, how to make a coconut smoothie for yourself.
Also coming up on the program, a Pathshala for a better future. Meet Singh, a bid to make India intelligent. He's now teaching slum kids to be more independent and get down to reading books the right way.
And India's 17-year-old Grandmaster Gukesh scripts history by winning the Candidates Chess Tournament here to become the youngest ever challenger to the world title. What about IPL? We love to bring you the sporting world updates, and as we just did, let's talk a little bit now about cricket. KKR edged out their competitors in a heart-stopping finish. They win by 1 run against RCB. RCB suffers its 7th defeat in IPL 2024.
Dramatic win by Gujarat Titans. GT beat PBKs by 3 wickets. Brilliant batting from Rahul. Tikvatia wins it for GT. Alright, we're starting off this week by celebrating something we would quite literally not be here without. Our planet Earth, of course, and the world is observing Earth Day today for the 55th time.
Now, this is a movement that actually originated in the United States, and it was inspired by the student anti-war movement of the late 60s. You actually had, Sonal, I thought this number was amazing, 20 million Americans that were 10% of their whole population at the time come out on the streets and protest and demonstrate for planet Earth.
So we thought today is a good day to check in on our planet and understand its health. But Toya, do you remember those dramatic visuals of Dubai that were totally submerged? We saw just in few days the hours of rainfall it got, which was worth almost months and years.
Right, you're right. I think I read somewhere that it was like 75 years worth of rain in one go.
Well, why exactly did that happen? What's the science really there? So we spoke with Shrishti to try and do a deep dive. Here's what she found.
Okay, we'll play that out for our audiences, but first let's go over very quickly to understand more from Shrishti right now. Shrishti, how indicative is the Dubai incident? So everything we saw happening in Dubai, how indicative is it of what could happen around the world? What is happening in Dubai currently is happening across the world. It's just an example of how climate change can intensify across countries. The kind of devastating floods that we have seen there have been happening across India. If you remember last year during the southwest monsoon season, the 4-month monsoon season, we saw disastrous floods happening in Himachal Pradesh as well as Uttarakhand. And to an extent that Punjab and Haryana also declared floods after a very, very long time. In fact, scientists have been raising an alarm that the intensity of extreme weather events have been increasing, not just in terms of frequency, but also the duration. If you remember, the heat waves are also getting longer and they are lasting over, and they're covering a larger part of the country, and rainfall is happening on a fewer days. But what is interesting is that this rainfall is happening on a fewer days, but the amount of rainfall is increasing also in terms of the quantum of rainfall that is happening.
Okay, Shrishti, I believe you also brought our audiences a breakdown earlier of exactly what led to this incident happening. So why did the Dubai incident happen? You've just given us the global context there, the fact that these are repeating patterns. But why did the Dubai incident happen in the first place? Let's just take a look.
The record-breaking rainfall in Dubai this week has left the world puzzled. Situated right in the Arabian desert, this city known for its soaring skyscrapers and opulent infrastructure has been brought to its knees by the torrential rainfall and the subsequent floods. Now, according to the weather department, this was caused by a high-intensity storm originating from the Mediterranean Sea. So we spoke to a lot of scientists and meteorologists to understand what led to this high intensity storm. Now, according to Dr. K.J. Ramesh, he is the former Director General of the India Meteorological Department. He says that there was a mid-latitude westerly trough which extended unusually southwards, impacting the UAE, and that is why we see extended amount of rainfall. He says that such kind of storms usually originate from the Mediterranean Sea, travel eastwards, impacting the northern parts of Pakistan, Afghanistan, and then Himachal Pradesh and Uttarakhand. But this time, as we say, that it extended unusually southwards. In addition to this, it also picked up moisture from the Arabian Sea, and that is why we see rainfall happening over Bahrain as well as Qatar. Dr. K.J. Ramesh points out that this is not just a one-off event. In fact, global warming is making these extreme rainfall events increase in intensity and frequency across the world. Now, the rising amount of greenhouse gas emissions that we have pumped into the atmosphere for these many years has made the world 1.1 degree warmer. We are talking about climate change, we are talking about global warming, which has made these extreme weather events, especially short bursts of rainfall, much more intense and frequent across the world. Dr. K.J. Ramesh says that now the number of days during which the rainfall is happening has come down, but the amount of rainfall during those days has increased significantly. There is also widespread debate over whether the Dubai rainfall was exacerbated by artificial cloud seeding. Now, this is a scientific methodology wherein the experts add some salt particles into the convective clouds through an aircraft in order to increase the amount of rainfall. Now, the UAE has been using this experiment for almost over a decade, and in order to increase the amount of rainfall. So we spoke to some experts who have been involved with cloud seeding experiments in India. Now, Professor Sachidanand Tripathi from the Department of Civil Engineering at IIT Kanpur says that it's highly unlikely that the current event was due to cloud seeding gone wrong. He says that this experiment is usually done to increase the amount of rainfall at a time when the storm has not really developed. But if the storm is well developed, then it's not recommended. Secondly, he points out that the global studies show that the cloud seeding experiments can increase the amount of rainfall by 15 to 25%. So in case of Dubai, the heavy rainfall event was anyways expected to happen even if the cloud seeding had not or been done.
He also points out to the trends of global warming which are making these heavy rainfall events increase in intensity across the world. So the science is clear, and the scientists are in unanimity over the rising impacts of climate change and global warming, due to which we are experiencing this extreme weather events across the world. I think the key is to make our urban infrastructure much more resilient to face these impacts of climate change, which are rising in intensity and frequency across the world. Scientists have also pointed out that this warming atmosphere can hold moisture for a very long duration. It can sustain stronger, deeper clouds for a very long duration, and then suddenly it leads to a downpour. That's all for today. Thank you so much.
All right then, and Shrishti is still with us to try and understand, a little more details on this front. So Shrishti, how much of a heads up on this do scientists really have? Are these changing weather patterns, what you're talking about, things that will change not just in Dubai, more and more of them happening all over the world now? Do we have a heads up? Do we have an understanding on where what will happen?
Right, Sonal. So what's happening in Dubai kind of gives a glimpse of what might happen in various other countries. Like we say, climate change has no specific address. So yes, scientists have been really working on forecasting these extreme weather events. Our forecasting skills have improved drastically, but the challenge here is that we are finding it extremely difficult to predict the intensity of these events. So like for example, in case of India, India has a long coastline. So the cyclones are, we can predict the, where they might make a landfall, but the way they are rapidly intensifying. And same goes with heat waves, which is another extreme weather event, and they are also lasting over a really long duration. So scientists are finding it difficult to do, and that is why the United Nations also has declared that all the countries across the world must have an early warning system in place to predict any kind of extreme weather event. It may be flood, it may be rainfall, it may be heat waves, or it may be cyclones.
Shrishti, in the explainer you brought us a little earlier, you said that the key for the future is, apart from everything you've just told us in terms of preparing for weather events, in general as a society we need to build more infrastructure that's resilient across the country, across the world. And the one thing we hear about India again and again is that in the future it's going to get very, very hot. But what is building infrastructure for everyone? People on the streets right now, people indoors, what does that look like?
So this is an important conversation that is happening on the global scale as well. If you remember, in 2019, India had also announced this Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, CDRI, where it brought the countries together to discuss how we need to build a resilient infrastructure in wake of climate change events. Now, these once-in-a-century floods are going to be more frequent. Same goes with heat waves. So according to experts, it's important that we have a sustainable infrastructure, like we are talking about these extreme rainfall events. So where will this excess rainwater will go? We are kind of, the way we are paving every urban city, we have seen urban flooding happening in Chennai, in Mumbai, almost every year during the monsoons. So that is extremely important. For heat waves, we really need to ensure that we plant more and more trees to counter the urban island heat effect. And these are the conversations which also happened incidentally in Dubai last December, where the country, when it hosted the United Nations Climate Change Summit. And overall, as all the governments have been urged to act on really countering the main reason for climate change, which is of course to reduce the rising emissions. But on the ground scale, yes, all the cities and the towns need to ensure that are they really prepared to prepare when excess rain happens, let's say during the monsoons, and we have the monsoons coming up in June. So let's see how we really prepare for that.
Okay.
Yeah. Shrishti, it's interesting you spoke about how Dubai did know this was coming. They perhaps, we don't know, made any preparations or not, but things are the way they are. Are there things that can be done, in terms of climate action, preparations that can be done, impact that can be made by, say, regular citizens and governments to ensure and deter it? We all know it's coming, to just sort of deter it as long as possible.
Definitely. I mean, the larger action needs to be taken by the governments, but on an individual level, we can take smaller actions. Let's see, do you have rainwater harvesting at your home? Are you planting enough trees? And what is your carbon footprint? Anything that you do really involves emissions. Can you bring that down on an individual level? So all of us collectively definitely can bring that down. and the governments had been also urging people to go for a sustainable way of living. Let's see the kind of home that you build. Does it have enough ventilation so that you do not depend on the electricity appliances, which are also anyways powered by fossil fuels, coal, gas and oil, which are actually the biggest culprits for climate change across the world.
Okay, so architectural changes we can make, but you're also saying, as an individual, we need to take responsibility. That seems to be your big message, Shrishti. Thank you for that. The other thing you were telling us, and this is something we discuss on TBC, is that it's going to be a hot, hot summer for all of us across the entire country.
That's right. And let's go now to someone who's going in and doing a lot for India in the environment space. We are now joined by Arun Krishnamurthy. Arun started the Environmentalist Foundation of India back in 2011, and over the years his organization says that they have cleaned more than 150 lakes across the country.
That's such a huge number, and I think one of the big questions we were thinking about earlier is, what does it look like to actually build this kind of effort? We'll go over to Arun to understand that, just to know how conscientious are Indian citizens when you're actually trying to build something like this. Let's go over to him to understand more. Arun heads EFI, it's the Environmentalist Foundation of India.
Hi, morning Arun. Thanks so much for joining us here on the Breakfast Club. You work heavily with different communities across the country to restore our lakes, of course. Are there any learnings you want to share with us, or any aha moments, any particular communities you found who were really driven by the cause?
I'm always asked this question of where it is easy to work in India. I'll tell you, it's not religion, caste, language, gender, or anything that is the same way from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Ladakh to Lakshadweep, Andamans to Arunachal, Gujarat to Manipur. It's actually the same. And the reason why I'm hopeful, in all these territory, everybody is so kind-hearted, and almost everybody wants to see the fish, crab, frog, snake, the tree, everything intact, and the water body to hold only fresh water, to drink water from that water body, and to swim in that water body is our wish. But unfortunately, we are the ones who are abusing it. And when you pitch the idea of let's revive it, let's clean it, almost everybody is out there in the field. The heat, the mobile phone, IPL, politics and movies are the heavy distraction which keeps us away from nature-based field work. The youth is very excited, but they should also think about not just desktop conservation, which is digitally, by liking, sharing, commenting, we're not going to be able to save the tiger or the lake. We have to be there out in the field. The older generation should also understand that it's not only the younger generation's responsibility. They are the ones who've ruined it. So it's a collaboration. Government, civic society, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jain, Sikh, whoever, man, woman, third gender, whether Tamil, Punjabi, Marathi, whoever, all of us have to come together in the name of India and her environment.
Can you tell us, Arun, you just spoke about governments, organizations, the bigger picture. Today, our TBC family, if we just asked you, what's one small easy step we can all change in our lives? We've talked about, for example, leaving plastic bags in the past. What's something today you tell us to start doing?
A huge, humble request: abandon balloons immediately. Whether it is birthday, anniversary, Teacher's Day, Christmas, Diwali, a new retail store opening, or anything, stop balloons. The number of sea turtles that were dead and washed ashore along the east coast of the country, Andhra, Tamil Nadu, and when you did autopsy in these turtles, almost 17 turtles of the many hundreds that were dead and washed ashore, 17 turtles choked on balloons because they thought it was jellyfish, and then they died.
Lord.
Now, anybody who's watching this show can immediately accept and agree we can easily live without balloons. Why be murderers? Yes, like this, there are very small items like a balloon, plastic straw, plastic spoon, one-time use and throw should definitely be out of our lives. And it's not a joke. See, nature conservation is no great deal. It's actually common sense, right? We can't sensationalize it, and all of us, it's a common responsibility. We have to realize it. Just because we walk straight and talk loud, we're not the superior species, and every small thing that we do impacts so many lives. So please say no to balloons is my biggest request through Network 18, to everybody who's celebrating Earth Day, this hypocritical namesake that I care about the planet is not going to help. Through this network, let's actually take a vow that we will stop using balloons.
That's a good one, Arun. I think that's a message that everybody can actually implement as well. But let's move on now and, on the Breakfast Club, we want to look at stories and with hope, with solution as well. So all this climate change data can be very sort of disappointing. Is there a positive message after your years of work that you have for our audiences, something to look forward to?
I very strongly believe in miracles. If this country still runs and this country is able to survive despite 1.4 billion people drawing every energy and resource from this land, it's simply because there is a spiritual guidance. It's the planet which is guiding us, right? We've been taught to worship the river, that tree, that snake, that bird, that ocean, to the hills. We've actually grown up in a culture which has taught us these significant lessons. In the last few decades, we've forgotten all of it. And just by being hopeful and participatory, see, miracles happen when there's an effort, is also something which I believe in. And there is no reason why we should give up, right? If you've been through the Indian education system, you'll definitely believe through the year you can definitely not study. The last 2 days you study, you'll somehow crack the exam. And that's the hope with which I'm running. And the exam that we are trying to crack is a climate exam. And if we somehow put in that Indian brain and then the Indian effort, we are there. Jugaad is something which is in our genes. Why not do some jugaad for the planet is my request.
Okay, what a beautiful and fun, frankly, message to end on. Arun, thank you. Okay, so the theme of this World Earth Day is planet versus plastics. Sonal, if I asked you what you think the most common form of plastic pollution was, when I just say that, what's the first thing that comes to your mind?
Something that Arun also said, no? Straws, plastic, maybe fast fashion.
Right, I also thought those few things, and it turns out that actually cigarette butts are considered the most abundant form of plastic waste in the world. Experts say there are around 4.5 trillion individual cigarette butts that are polluting our entire planet.
And they can take 10 years to degrade, that's right. But an organization in Noida has now come up with a really fun, innovative solution. And they are turning these cigarette butts into soft toys. Hard to imagine? Well, Kuhina did a bit of a digging there.
Hello viewers, look at my outfit today. Cool, right? But would you believe me if I said that this entire outfit has been made from scratch with the help of this cigarette waste? Today, we are uncovering the incredible journey of turning discarded cigarette butts into usable fabric, even denim. Picture this, 4.5 trillion cigarette butts, the most common plastic pollution, litter our environment yearly. But wait, aren't cigarette butts made out of cotton or paper? In reality, cigarette butts primarily contain plastic, and an organization in Noida has, over the last few years, come up with an incredible method to recycle cigarette butts and literally redefine them. This is called effort. A few years ago, its co-founders developed a closed cycling process that takes cigarette butts and turns them into everything from mannequins to toys to even clothes.
Initiation was just towards recycling because there was no other recycler who was handling cigarette butts in India specifically at that time. So when we were sorted and we had the technology to recycle cigarette butts, then we made a complete business model where we first started with procurement. When we started, it was Delhi NCR, 3 cities in 2018. Currently, we have collection centers in more than 200 districts, plus a community of 2,500 plus rag pickers who are helping us in procurement.
Here's how it works. First, they collaborate with local rag pickers to collect cigarette waste. Then, using innovative organic chemicals, they transform the waste into valuable materials. The cigarette butts undergo treatment to extract harmful substances then become different kinds of fabric. The organization says it has recycled more than 10 billion cigarette butts till date.
Daily collection, when we started, it was 10 grams per day. Now we have reached to 1500 kgs per day. So this has been the journey so far. This Earth Day is very special for us because on this Earth Day we will be launching an industry first sustainable denim made out of recycled cigarette butts in association with one of the leading and biggest fashion apparel brand.
Well, let's talk about the impact. It is huge because core effort is not just recycling waste but also creating a lot of job opportunities. They are empowering more than 100 rural women and employing more than 2,500 rag pickers across the nation.
All right then, so that's quite a cool story, and I want to get my hands on those jeans then that Kohina is on to. But sticking with our theme on Earth's Day today is also the day to give some gratitude to Mother Earth and a day to sort of reiterate our resolve to keep our planet clean and green. So here we've got a special message for you coming in all the way from Sadhguru. Take a look.
We are not just earthed, we are the earth, and the soil that we walk upon and the body that we carry are not different, the same thing. Saving the earth, saving soil is is fundamental to ensure that our own lives and the lives of future generations are ensured. Across the world, I'm seeing there are many individual people, a whole lot of people who are concerned about these things, but the important thing is to merge this into one big force so that the difference happens in action. In action, if real difference has to happen for the soil, for the earth, the most important thing is we must come up with the right kind of policies. Being democratic nations, it's very important that we move people in a big way and keep that up so that as governments change every few years, the same momentum and the same purpose and the same intent is kept up for long periods of time so that solutions are not just talked about, solutions are implemented. We should move towards policy changes which will ensure long-term well-being of the living soil that we walk upon. So I beseech every one of you, this is a commitment for life. If every one of us live and breathe these concerns, definitely as a generation we can make this difference. This is our time on the planet. We have to make sure that we don't pass away talking about problems, but we are a generation of solutions. Let's make it happen.
All right, on that note, let's move on now and bring you stories from India and across the world. South Korea voices a strong disapproval as Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida offers respects to Tokyo's Yasukuni Shrine, a site linked to Japan's aggressive wartime past. South Korea has urged Japanese leaders to demonstrate sincere repentance, which could pave the way for better relations between the two nations.
Venezuela's opposition has chosen a low-profile former diplomat, Edmundo Gonzalez, to run against President Nicolas Maduro in the July elections. The stakes are high for the July 28th polls. Why is that? Because the US has said that holding fair elections is the condition for lifting sanctions on this South American nation. Now, Gonzalez's candidacy was finalized on Friday. This is just a day before the deadline to replace him with someone else.
The US House has approved a bill that could spell trouble for TikTok's future in the country. The legislation demands TikTok's parent company based in Beijing to divest from the platform or face a ban. This bill, which is part of a larger aid package for Ukraine and Israel, could become a law within a week post the Senate approval. Originally, the House proposed a 6-month deadline for divestment, but concerns over its feasibility led to a modified version giving ByteDance 9 months with a possible extension.
In Spain's Canary Islands, tens of thousands rallied against mass tourism. They're demanding limits on tourist numbers and curbs on unchecked development. This is a big story for Earth Day too. They're stressing that they're not anti-tourism, but they want balances. This is amid concerns over continuing environment harm. Tourism makes up to 35% of this economy, 40% of the jobs. And this is a very important issue. In 2023, 13.9 million tourists visited the 7 main islands. It's about 6 times the local population of that island. 2.2 million is the local population.
In Paris, baker Stéphane Louard has whipped up a culinary whirlwind. Now blending a croissant with a chocolate chip cookie. He calls it the crookie creation, and it's causing quite a stir. The crookie went viral on TikTok, leading a surge in demand. Louard sold about 2,300 of these crookies in a day, and the trend has spread to bakeries worldwide. The crookie, which was initially just a diversion, is now a global sensation.
Okay, and shifting focus now in a tragic parallel to the Notre Dame incident, a fire engulfing Copenhagen's historic Borsen building. The iconic Dragon Spire has collapsed, and about 100 soldiers were actually brought in to help the ensuing rescue efforts. They climbed onto each other's shoulders to actually pull down famed artworks that were actually mounted very high up on all of the structure's walls. Lessons have actually been sought from Notre Dame's swift restoration, and Danish officials are hopeful that they're actually going to be able to rebuild it soon.
Meta has unveiled plans for a new educational hub set to revolutionize learnings with Quest headsets. The platform promises tailored apps and management tools for educators, aiming to enhance student learning experiences. With virtual reality, students can explore history and beyond. However, affordability and age restrictions may limit access.
And next, a rather terrifying one. Good news for fans of the cult classic film The Shining. Oregon's Timberline Lodge, which is featured very, very heavily in the movie, it'll be reopening its doors to guests after it was shut down post a fire scare. The damage was minimal. Guests were evacuated safely. This is a structure that was built all the way back in 1937. It's a historic spot atop the Mount Hood in Portland, and it's now ready to welcome visitors again if you're ready for a spook.
And in good news coming in this morning, India's 17-year-old Grandmaster D. Gukesh scripted history by winning the candidates chess tournament to become the youngest ever challenger to the world title. He will take on the reigning world champion now. It is China's Ding Liren for the crown later this year, and he became only the second Indian after the great Vishwanathan Anand to win the candidates. 5-time world champion Anand's triumph came in 2014. He's also Gukesh's mentor.
And dramatic scenes unfolding on live TV as a Doordarshan anchor fainted. This is while reporting on the heat wave in West Bengal. You can see those visuals right now of Lopamudra Sinha. She shared her ordeal on social media. She described how her health deteriorated during a broadcast. Now, despite feeling unwell, she did try to continue after a glass of water. She was unable to stay hydrated because of the nature of the broadcast. Now, her condition has only worsened, led to a fainting spell during a live TV segment. Officials are warning that heat wave conditions will persist in several districts in the region in the coming week.
All right, so that's a reminder to keep yourself hydrated this summer. And well, that got us thinking that if you're looking for other hydrating drinks, we've got one really innovative one for you. And this one takes inspiration from Earth Day. Chef Sneha has a rather refreshing one for you. Take a look.
Hello! Because it's Earth Day today, we are making a Earth-inspired smoothie which is so delicious and takes no time to make, and it looks absolutely beautiful. So let's make this. So to start it off, we're going to mix coconut cream with matcha powder. So we'll just mix this till it comes together. Now that this is well mixed, I'm just going to spread some on the sides of a transparent glass. So now we're going to move on to making our smoothie with frozen bananas, frozen pineapples, coconut milk. You could use any other milk that you like. You can also use dahi for this actually. So now for the blue color, I'm using spirulina powder. However, you can use butterfly pea powder as well. Now we'll blitz it till it's smooth. Now all that's left to do is pour the smoothie into the glass. Doesn't this look just so beautiful and refreshing? So let's celebrate Earth Day together. Remember to keep it clean and green and sip in.
Green and blue smoothie, I could get used to that one.
It looked yum, and her recipes always do, but right now I think after hearing about the heat stroke stories in particular and feeling the heat right now, right outside, it's time for it. Coming up after the break, maybe we'll go grab one right now, but coming up after the break, the unheard journey of a cop. We're going to make you meet the teacher of the year. A cop and a teacher on your screens right now. This is Than Singh in almost a decade's worth of efforts. This is his story.
Sir, as a journalist who has covered elections for 3 terms at least, we had never thought that we would come and cover this election in this way, where we are seeing a vertical split within your own party. Is it a split in the party? Is it a split in the family? And how do you see this unprecedented political battle in Maharashtra?
There is a division in our party. Last election we contested, Vidhan Sabha or Lok Sabha. If you just try to collect information about Varanasi block, here, as usual, voters, people, they overwhelmingly supported NCP. The NCP, which was led by me, NCP was founded as me, and NCP whose symbol was Gazipur. We succeeded to get hardly 4 seats in Lok Sabha and something 54 or 56 Vidhan Sabha. Situation at the state level was such, no party was able to form government. And that's why we ultimately associated and supported with an organization headed by Mr. Uddhav Thackeray. We succeeded to form government.
Yes, but there are...
Along with Mr. Uddhav Thackeray. Unfortunately, after some time, practically after 2 years, one section from Shiv Sena mainly, Uddhav Thackeray, led by Mr. Singh, who happens to be the CM today, they have taken different decisions. They disassociated from Mr. Thackeray and they associated with BJP and successfully formed a government. Our colleagues were not for that time. But after some time, after a few months, some of our colleagues who got elected on NCP symbol
Sir, as a journalist who has covered elections for 3 terms at least, we had never thought that we would come and cover this election in this way, where we are seeing a vertical split within your own party. Is it a split in the party? Is it a split in the family?
All right then, welcome back. And we told you some interesting, positive, good news coming in this morning. This is of a young champion, Gukesh, who has now has broken several milestones over there. He's become the youngest to sort of crack in to the candidates chess tournament, bringing in accolades and getting in lots of congratulations from nobody less than Vishwanathan Anand as well. So, of course, we'll try and get you more on this, but quite something there. He's just 17, Toya?
Right, and it's not just that, he's just 17. What Sonal just said about that huge achievement. Let's go over to Vishwanath Anand now to understand more about this entire achievement. Remember, he's become only the second Indian after Vishwanath Anand to win the candidates. Let's go over to Vishwanath Anand to understand more. Sir, thank you for joining us here on the show. Sir, you've also mentored him. Is that correct? Can you just tell us a little bit about his journey to today?
Yes. So, about 4.5 years ago, I was going to start this academy called the Westbridge Anand Chess Academy, and I picked a couple of youngsters. Gukesh, Pragnananda, they're all from that group, the first group, and we were going to. I picked them because they were amazing. They were grandmasters at the age of 14, and I thought, well, that shows the potential they have for the future. But even so, I did not. We mapped out some plans and we decided that they would get very strong very soon. But in my wildest dreams, I didn't expect that he would become the youngest challenger even before this tournament. The only thing I would say is that before this tournament, I started to feel that he had the strength to win it if the circumstances were right. But, from just feeling that something is possible to actually seeing someone do it. And it's amazing that he's going to play for the world title before we think that he's ready to vote.
Yes. And Anand, firstly, congratulations. You must be so proud to have somebody from your own academy, somebody you've mentored, cross this milestone. But tell us what next. We understand he's now sort of all set to beat the world champion.
Yes, sir. So because he's the youngest challenger, now FIDE will proceed to invite bids for the World Championship between Ding Liren of China and him, and that will happen later this year. But of course, that we will make an announcement very soon. But exciting time for him. He now gets to plan his year and make sure that he is ready for that for the biggest test yet.
All right then. So good luck to you, Anand,
but
and good luck.
Let's try to sneak in one more question.
Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
Let's just try. Okay. Sorry, sir, that we're keeping you here for this long, but we just want to ask you one more question. Tell us, Sonal was just touching on the fact that he's going to be against Ding Liren in a little while. What's advice you'd have for him?
What is that?
What is the advice you'd have for him? Because you've mentored him so far. What is the kind of competitor Ding Liren is? What does he need to keep in mind?
Okay. Look, Ding Liren is one of the highest rated players in chess. One of the, in a few years back, he was almost reaching number one in the world. He had his best year in 2019. And then last year, he had a dramatic performance in the World Championship in Astana against Jan Nepomniachtchi. So he showed an amazing amount of resilience. I think he's basically a very quiet person, but who's very, very well prepared, very disciplined. So, it will be a special kind of match. But I think Gukesh has every right to feel confident. His results have been on an upswing. And honestly, the way he dealt with this candidate tournament, the maturity he showed. I mean, we all were talking about how the experienced players would have an advantage because they had faced this tension before. Well, Gukesh did it on the first time, and everyone is remarking about how cool he was under pressure. So I think Gukesh will have excellent chances, but Ding Liren is not to be underestimated. He is a phenomenal opponent.
All right then, Anand, thank you so much. Vishwanathan Anand there for joining us. Quiet and does work, sounds exactly like you, I must say. So good luck to him and to the entire team over there. We're also joined now by Padma Kumari. She's the mother of Gukesh. Good morning. At just 17, your boy has done some wonders and really passed in a lot of milestones. How are you feeling this morning?
Thank you. Thanks a lot. I'm feeling great. I'm super happy for him. Hello?
Padma Kumari ji, that's awesome. Can we ask you, can you just tell us a little bit more about what Gukesh's practices look like, particularly in the last year? What's his schedule been like? Has he had time to speak to you in between? Does family time still happen? Tell us a little bit about the behind the scenes.
Actually, he has been, he was, he qualified to candidates at the last moment. So he had very little time to prepare, but he was working very hard actually, very hard. And he was, I think when he went to Canada, I saw the confidence in him, but we didn't expect this great result. But it was possible. And I think he showed great maturity and very calm and composed manner in the tournament, which made him win.
Right. Padmaji, we were speaking to Vishwanathan Anand also right now, and he also said that he's very quiet, he has a thinking mind, and he's gotten to really surprise everybody, his mentor and parents alike. So tell us a little bit about what do you think, where does Gukesh get his mojo from?
I think from the childhood, it starts from his childhood. We never asked him to do his homework or something. When he was going to school, he's very responsible. He does his homework by himself. We did not push him for anything. So I think the same worked here also. We are not pushing him for anything, and we are not forcing him for anything. He's doing his work. He takes his own responsibility, and he loves chess, and this is his great passion, and that's what he's following. And I think his dedication, hard work, and sincerity made him achieve this.
Padmaji, we asked Vishwanath Anand earlier what his advice would be for the next big match that he has coming up. But we also want to ask you, because you're, of course, his mother and you've watched him at home grow up, deal with pressures. Yes, ma'am. What would your advice for D. Gukesh be, for your son be, for the next few months to handle that high pressure match that's coming up?
I think he did from whatever he is doing so far. I think if he works hard with the same dedication and sincerity, same thing, he can play good. Nothing different he is going to do, I think.
All right. All right, Padma Kumari there, the mother of Gukesh. Thank you so much for speaking to us, ma'am, and we hope there are big celebrations for this quiet boy that we're all sort of getting to discover this morning. Thanks so much for speaking with us. All right, shifting focus now to IPL and all the action over there. Two big matches on Sunday, Kolkata Knight Riders versus Royal Challengers Bengaluru and Punjab Kings versus the Gujarat Titans.
So let's bring that eventually got over the line by 1 run, courtesy of a run out of the final ball against RCB, the Royal Challengers Bengaluru. This is at Eden Gardens in Kolkata. So you had Andre Russell, you had Sunil Narine. They turned the game in Kolkata Knight Riders' way. They claimed the crucial wickets in the middle overs, and the hosts won the thriller by 1 run in their homes.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the Gujarat Titans registered a 3-wicket win over Punjab Kings in Mulanpur, led by Sai Kishore's 4-wicket haul and a relentless spin attack over there. Jamie Alter gets you more.
Well, yesterday's doubleheader in the IPL started off with a cracker of a match at Eden Gardens, where host Kolkata Knight Riders beat RCB by just 1 run, and with that loss to KKR, it looks like RCB fans, your team's season is all but over, because RCB remain at 10 out of 10 on the points table with a solitary win from 8 matches. Things are not looking good. We're at that stage where even perhaps mathematical combinations and permutations will not be enough for RCB to get into the playoffs. On the other hand, KKR having, well, escaped defeat, a certain defeat, given the way that Dinesh Karthik, Suyash Prabhudesai and then Karan Sharma, the tail ender, launched that late innings assault against KKR. Well, I think Shreyas Iyer's team would be like, you know what? We're still number 2 and we've done a lot of things right. It was a solid paisa vasool, as they say in Hindi, IPL match. 223 on the board. So close for RCB. A controversial decision to give Virat Kohli out. We all know how rules and all these DRS calls have been very, very controversial. As per the rules, Virat Kohli was out. Was it the right call? Well, those of us who watch cricket for a long time will keep on saying, you know, the law in many, many ways just keeps on getting more and more frustrated. Why does cricket have to be tinkered with when it comes to decisions regarding technology? Well, maybe a debate for a different day. For RCB, the good news was Will Jacks got his first IPL 50. Rajat Patidar got another exceptional 50. But then, where did the match turn? I'll tell you where. KKR taking 4 wickets in the span of just 2 overs. Andre Russell coming on to bowl for the first time in the match and getting both set half centurions, and then Sunil Narine, who didn't for once click as a pinch hitter, he got 2 wickets as well. And then it all came down to Karan Sharma, who hit the 24.75 crore fast bowler Mitchell Starc for 3 sixes right at the end of that match. But then Mitchell Starc took a brilliant cotton bowl and it came down to 3 runs off the last ball, looking for 2, run out Lockie Ferguson to seal a humdinger for KKR at Eden Gardens. Now the match that followed that Eden Gardens thriller was very, very different. Yes, it went down to the last over, but the scores combined across 2 innings were nowhere close to what RCB and KKR dished out. 142 runs, that's all that Punjab could get. They fought tooth and nail to defend that, but in the end, Gujarat Titans owed to a few handy contributions, most noticeably that unbeaten innings from Rahul Tewatia. As wickets kept falling, the finisher, the Iceman Tewatia, kept his cool and got his team GT over the line. It was a very, very different pitch from what we saw at Calcutta. Nothing high scoring at all. Grip and turn. Sai Kishore, the Tamil Nadu spinner, took 4 wickets in what stands as his best performance to date. So on the one hand, while both matches had doses of entertainment, the second match of the IPL doubleheader was very, very different. It was not a high-scoring game. There were no 50s scored in the match, but it did not lack for entertainment. And that happens sometimes in the IPL, as we've seen for many, many seasons. When you get a pitch, when you get a wicket that has some turn and grip, and spinners on both sides start to really put revs on the ball, you do end up getting some entertainment. Not the slam bang variety when 25, 30 sixes flow across an innings, but more the kind where the bowlers come into play. And I think there'll be many IPL viewers, I'm sure many of you will also agree with me, which like to see that balance between bat and ball. As good as matches where 250 has been breached has been, you do feel bad for the bowler. So personally, if you ask me, I'm okay with such matches because they make the contest entertaining. Like I said, it did go, that second match did go down to the last over of that match, and you also saw plenty of purchase for the spinners. So overall, looking back at yesterday's doubleheader day, 2 engaging if contrasting games. And as I said earlier, this IPL, the playoff race is heating up, but not for RCB or PBKS.
Okay, let's take you now from the world of cricket to something entirely different. A special section on financial markets powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing and business insights. Okay, first let's bring you the read on the markets. Indian markets are expected to open higher. This is given the positive trend in GIFT Nifty. Asian markets are trading marginally higher in rebound from Friday's sell-off. The big mover shaker Reliance Industries and Jio Financial Services will be announcing results today. Gold prices may trend lower, towing the opening prices that are already being seen in Asian markets.
Let's look at sectors this morning then. The fortunes of India's chemical sector have risen and ebbed, with trends of rebuilding of inventories in 2021 and later acute sort of whittling of inventories thereafter as well. However, growth prospects in two key export markets, that's US and China, are firming up. Inventory in the pipeline is normalizing, and given how challenging it has been for investors, it is still a sector that deserves a serious second look. Does it really? Well, you can log in to Money Control Pro to find out more about the chemical sector and other actionable insights. It is a premium destination for all investing views and financial invites, even insights you will ever need, brought to you by Money Control. All right, with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of the Breakfast Club. I hope you all had the good, right start to your morning and this week.
Right, we brought you conversations with top players, and earlier we told you stay away from balloons and care for the planet. Today's World Earth Day, and from our side at TVC, we'd like to say goodbye.
Bye.
Sir, as a journalist who has covered elections for 3 terms at least, we had never thought that we would come and cover this election in this way, where we are seeing a vertical split within your own party. Is it a split in the party? Is it a split in the family? And how do you see this unprecedented political battle in Maharashtra?
There is a division in our party. Last election we contested, Vidhan Sabha or Lok Sabha. If you just try to collect information about Varanasi block, here, as usual, voters, people, they overwhelmingly supported NCP. The NCP, which was led by me, NCP, whose founder was me, and NCP, whose symbol was Gazipur watch. We succeeded to get hardly 4 seats in Lok Sabha and something 54 or 56 Vidhan Sabha. Situation at the state level was such, no party was able to form government. And that's why we ultimately associated and supported with an organization headed by Mr. Uddhav Thackeray. We succeeded to form government.
Yes, but there are...
Along with Mr. Uddhav Thackeray. Unfortunately, after some time, practically after 2 years, one section from Shiv Sena, mainly Uddhav Thackeray, led by Mr. Singh, who happens to be the CM today, they have taken different decisions. They disassociated from Mr. Thackeray and they associated with BJP and successfully formed a government. Our colleagues were not for that time. But after some time, after a few months, some of our colleagues who got elected on NCP symbol, they took a decision to join BJP and
Sir, as a journalist who has covered elections for 3 terms at least, we had never thought that we would come and cover this election in this way, where we are seeing a vertical split within your own party. Is it
Hello and a very good morning to all our viewers. You're watching the morning news show on CNN News 18 and I'm Sakshi Singh Litoria. Over the next 1 hour, we'll be bringing you all the top headlines from the nation and across the globe. At the top of this segment, we have got a breaking update coming in on the news that we broke to our viewers earlier today about a massive fire being broke out in the Gazipur landfill. This is the breaking update that we have received. Now, politics over Gazipur landfill fire has erupted. Delhi BJP has now attacked the Aam Aadmi Party. They have said, and I'm going to quote them here, Delhi may not have become London, but the repeated fires on the garbage mountain seems to be enough to turn the capital into ashes. This horrifying clip of the fire in Gazipur landfill is heart-wrenching. Now Aam Aadmi Party is in MCD. Who will you hold responsible for this? So that's the disturbing visual that we are flashing on your screen at the moment. This is from last night. Residents, of course, have also complained about the breathing issues because of the smoke there, because of that gas which got leaked and because of which there was a massive fire in Gazipur landfill as well. This is a major fire that broke out 21st April, which was yesterday. It continues to rage on, and according to the sources, we are learning that the efforts are being pushed to douse the fire as well. We have CNN News 18's Nikhil Lakhwani joining us on the broadcast to walk us through all the latest updates that he has received from the ground. Nikhil, a very good morning to you. Please tell us how far have we reached to douse the fire and what are the complaints of the residents if they are feeling some sort of an irritation because of the gas leakage?
So actually, as we speak, we are reporting currently from the site where the fire started in the very first place. The details are suggesting that it started on Sunday, that means yesterday, at about 5:20 p.m. when first call was received for the Delhi Fire Services, and immediately many of the fire tenders were rushed to the site. As of now, as we speak, the cooling process is underway, although the stop call has not been received by those who are dousing the fire on the ground zero. But as of now, there is a lot of smoke which has completely filled this entire area. And this is something which is toxic in some way or the other, because this is a dumping site, and not the first time this kind of incident has taken place in previous years as well, be it the year 2023 or 2023. In every year, the similar incidents are reported, but no action or the impact of the same can be seen on the ground zero. But the initial probe suggests that because of the rising temperature in the capital city and the spot where the fire has taken place, that is the rear side. That means it is the back side of the landfill site, which is right opposite to the fish market, where the fire started. And that is the exact spot where the fresh dumping waste was being done. And because of the production of methane gas in contact with the air, this is something which triggered the fire in the very first place. But if you can see the visuals, this place is completely filled with smoke. I would urge my camera person Artist to continue showing the visual from this particular site. You can see that because of a lot of smoke, and this is something which is very toxic in nature, the health concerns are being raised by all the people who live in the nearby vicinity. And similar is the situation, as we are already saying, that they have been facing for years now, but no action whatsoever has been taken. In fact, in the previous years, many of the action plans, including that of committee as well, has been formed to keep a check on the fire situation, but nothing appears like to be working at this place. And this is the rear side from where we are reporting from. You can see, if you are able to, that this place is completely filled with smoke. And as we speak, although the stop call has not been received, but the cooling down process of the fire continues to take place by all the personnel from the Delhi Fire Services. But for over 15 hours now, the fire continues to be there. We need to see as to how long it will take to completely douse the fire at this site. And in a short while from now, the politics in person will also start to take place, although it has already taken place with the beginning of the fire. Yesterday only the Delhi BJP reacted in the first place, and the details are suggesting that by 9:30 a.m. this morning, the Delhi BJP Siren Sachdeva, along with the leader of opposition in the NCD, Sardar Iqbal Singh, they will be here in person to see the overall situation and to take a stock of the fire and so how much the concerns are being raised by the general public. Because this is the time when the NCD is currently in control with the Aam Aadmi Party, and at about 10 a.m. there is also a press conference where Atishi is going to speak, and we are expecting the first reaction from the Aam Aadmi Party on the same. Because this is something which is which appears not very good. You can imagine the amount of health concerns and the amount of hazardous air which is currently being breathed by all those people who live in the nearby vicinity. In some way or the other, they are forced to breathe this toxic air which is coming out from the garbage waste at the Gazipur landfill site. Back to you, Sakshi.
Request you to please stay with us. We have got a reaction coming in within the same story. Let's take a look at that first and then we'll come back to you.
करीब हमें शाम को 6 बजे हमें कॉल मिली है कि गाजीपुर खत्ते में आग है और जो है यहाँ पर जो है 10-12 गाड़ी लगी हुई हैं, 10 के करीब हैं, 4 गाड़ी ऊपर लगी हुई हैं और जो बड़े बड़े बाउज़र हैं वे नीचे खड़े हुए हैं, वे चढ़ नहीं सकते और आग बुझा रहे हैं। हाँ, यहाँ पर वाटर बाउज़र हैं, टंकियाँ हैं। वाटर बाउज़र तो नीचे ही खड़े हैं क्योंकि ये चढ़ने में असमर्थ हैं और जो है ऊपर जो है 4 गाड़ी लगी हुई हैं, कुछ खाली होकर के आ रही हैं, कुछ भर के जा रही हैं। जेसीबी से भी मदद ली जा रही है? हाँ, जेसीबी से काफ़ी मदद मिल रही है क्योंकि ढेर जो काफ़ी ऊंचा है, हीट भी ज़्यादा है, वहाँ पर जो है आग बुझाने में थोड़ी हीट के कारण भी दिक्कत आ रही है।
Nikhil, coming back to you, apart from the political jibes and the blame game, has anyone from the central government or the state government commented about how actually they can control the situation? Because Gazipur landfill, the mountain of garbage, is something that grows and grows every year and has been a concern for the people living around it for many years now.
Well, that's right, Sakshi, and we are witness of the same because every year we report on the same story around this time of the year, and this is the first fire for the year 2024. But apart from the politics, no solution so far has been provided. But in the previous years, be it the year 2022 or the previous year, we have seen a lot of action plan have been made in regard of the same. In fact, the summer action plan has also, it was something which came out from the side of the Gopal Rai, who is the environment minister. But it appears like that despite all the efforts, the officials who are responsible for the same, they have not been able to successfully keep a check on the fire situation, because this is not just about a simple fire which is taking place and dousing after a while. This is something which is seriously a health concern for all those people who live in the nearby vicinity, and because of the wind speed as well, you can imagine that how this toxic air is also going to other part of the capital city, and who fall in the actual this point of radius, they all are forced to breathe this toxic air. This is the reason why when in the opposition, as far as the MCD is concerned, when Aam Aadmi Party was not in power in MCD, they used to raise a couple of questions on the Bharatiya Janata Party. But even though now that the Aam Aadmi Party is ruling on the MCD, the questions are now being raised by the BJP leaders as to what are the action or what are the points which have been taken into consideration by those people who are currently in power. This is the reason why in a short while from now the leaders from the Delhi Bharatiya Janata Party, they are going to arrive here in a short while from now to begin the politics from the ground zero. There is also a reaction which is expected to come out from the side of the Aam Aadmi Party as well, because MCD is the one which is being ruled by them, and this is something which is very much concerning. This is something which is not very good. We need to see as to how the health experts are also, taking the view in consideration as to how much or how longing the effect will be seen on those people who are forced to breathe the toxic air. Sakshi.
Right, Nikhil, and it's quite ironic and concerning that today we are celebrating the Earth Day and at the same time India's national capital is facing such issues. Thank you so much, Nikhil, for walking us through all those updates. Right now we're shifting focus to the intensive campaigning amidst the polling season. Weeks after Rahul Gandhi promised wealth redistribution if voted to power, Prime Minister Narendra Modi targeted Rahul's promise while addressing a rally in Rajasthan's Banswara yesterday, reminding Congress of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh's speech from December 2006. Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that the Congress continues to remain in the clutches of leftists. Prime Minister Modi was referring to a speech by Manmohan Singh where he had claimed that the minorities, especially Muslims, had first claim to nation's resources. Prime Minister also attacked after Rahul Gandhi was addressing a rally in Hyderabad on April 6th and said that the Congress will distribute the country's wealth if voted to power to those who have more children. In response to Prime Minister's attack, Rahul Gandhi said that the level of lies by the Prime Minister had dropped after first phase of voting. Several leaders from the Congress said that the Prime Minister is trying to divide Hindu and Muslims yet another time.
आपकी संपत्ति सरकार को हटने का अधिकार है क्या? क्या आपकी संपत्ति को, आपने मेहनत करके कमाई हुई संपत्ति को सरकार को ऐंठने का अधिकार है क्या? क्या उस संपत्ति को मेरी माता और बहनों की जिंदगी में सोना वो सिर्फ शो करने के लिए नहीं होता है, उसके स्वाभिमान से जुड़ा हुआ है। उसका मंगलसूत्र वो एक सोने का कीमत का मुद्दा नहीं है, उसके जीवन के सपनों से जुड़ा हुआ है। तुम उसे छीनने की बात कर रहे हो अपने मैनिफेस्टो में। गोल्ड ले लेंगे, सबको वितरित कर देंगे। और पहले जब उनकी सरकार थी उन्होंने कहा था कि देश की संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। इसका मतलब ये संपत्ति इकट्ठी करके किसको बांटेंगे? जिनके ज्यादा बच्चे हैं उनको बांटेंगे। क्या आपकी मेहनत की कमाई का पैसा घुसपैठियों को दिया जाएगा? आपको मंजूर है ये कांग्रेस का मैनिफेस्टो कह रहा है कि वो माताओं बहनों का सोने का हिसाब करेंगे, उसकी जड़ती करेंगे, जानकारी लेंगे और फिर उस संपत्ति को बांट देंगे और उनको बांटेंगे जिनको मनमोहन सिंह जी की सरकार ने कहा था कि संपत्ति पर पहला अधिकार मुसलमानों का है। भाइयों बहनों, ये अर्बन नक्सल की सोच, मेरी माताओं बहनों, ये आपका मंगलसूत्र भी बचने नहीं देंगे, यहां तक जाएंगे मैं कहने आया।
And some fireworks emerging from the opposition side after Prime Minister took a jibe at Rahul Gandhi and Congress in turn. After Prime Minister's remark that you just heard against the Congress chief Mallikarjun Kharge has hit back by saying that Prime Minister is rattled after first phase of polling, and so he's trying to divert attention by making such statement. Of course, reiterating to the point that Rahul Gandhi also made, they said that Prime Minister has resorted to hate speech and lies post the first phase of polling. We have CNN News 18 senior editor Pallavi Ghosh joining us on the broadcast. Pallavi, how exactly opposition, apart from also saying that BJP and Prime Minister are using diversionary tactics, taking this urban Naxal and infiltrators jibe thrown towards them by the Prime Minister?
Well, I mean, you also saw Rahul Gandhi's response which came in yesterday, and of course you're seeing the Congress president and many others in the opposition spectrum. Actually, as far as opposition is concerned, they have consistently made the point that this whole polarization attempt which is made by the BJP is always done because they really don't have one to talk much about development, because nothing much has taken place on the ground. So it's never about Vikas, it's only about dividing the people. The second thing is that according to the opposition parties, in the first phase, the BJP did not do well and they are the ones who've done well. And therefore, this is one reason why the Prime Minister seems to be nervous, and that is why he's indulging in diversionary tactics. You're going to hear more of this. Clearly, there's a lot of outrage as far as the opposition is concerned. The Prime Minister was referring to a Dr. Manmohan speech which was made in Vigyan Bhavan, and he's also speaking about a portion of the Congress manifesto Nyaya Patra. It talks about redrawing the entire economic structure and to ensure that people get the benefits, especially the minorities, which could of course be the Muslims, but also as far as the backward castes are concerned.
Right, Pallavi, please stay with us because we have also heard from the BJP. This is BJP's Amit Malviya's tweet on this recent property war that broke out between the Prime Minister and the Rahul Gandhi. The Congress Manifesto 2024 is clear, is what the Amit Malviya has said, and I'm going to continue the lines from his tweet. It specifically states the following: Congress will conduct a nationwide socio-economic and caste census to enumerate the castes and the subcastes and their socio-economic conditions, and based on the data, we will strengthen the agenda for affirmative action. So that's the word coming in from BJP's Amit Malviya in response to the jibe that came in from Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge and of course Rahul Gandhi. We have CNN News 18's Aman Sharma also joining us on the broadcast. Aman, if we were to talk about the redistribution promise that has been made by Rahul Gandhi in one of his rallies, what exactly did he mean by that? Please walk us through that first.
Well, Sakshi, see, what the Prime Minister has essentially said yesterday is that the Congress is promising a financial and an institutional survey which amounts to a wealth redistribution survey. Are they planning to redistribute wealth of the people amongst the minority community? That is the PM's charge, and he's combined 2-3 things into this. Number one, the Congress in its manifesto has promised a socio and economic caste census and taking affirmative action on it, ensuring that the minorities of the country get their fair share in various sectors, be it jobs, be it healthcare, etc. That is what the Congress manifesto mentions. But on April 6th, when Rahul Gandhi was speaking on this manifesto in Hyderabad, to quote Mr. Rahul Gandhi, he used this line that we will do he mentioned the caste census, but then he said, after that, we will do a financial and institutional survey to find who holds the country's wealth, what section holds it, and then we will undertake a revolutionary work. Whatever is your right, we will work on giving you the same, be it in the media, the bureaucracy, all the institutions that he was referring to earlier, the caste census that will be done on the backwards, SC, STs, poor of general caste and the minorities. Now the Prime Minister is asking, what is this financial and institutional survey, this revolutionary work that Rahul Gandhi is referring to post the socio-economic caste census that has already been promised by the Congress in the manifesto, and the Prime Minister is taking this back now to the 2006 speech of former Prime Minister Manmohan Singh at that time, when Manmohan Singh had said that the first right of the country's resources has to be on certain sections. He mentioned, the BJP says he mentioned minorities, especially Muslims, while the Congress says that the earlier part of Manmohan Singh's statement in the same speech has been ignored, where he was actually referring to SC, STs, minorities, women and other sections. So in a way, the Prime Minister now saying, and the PMO had then issued a clarification, but that had not cut ice, and Narendra Modi, Sakshi then was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, present in that hall when Manmohan Singh made that statement. It was Narendra Modi who then took took great offense to this speech, and today also Manmohan Singh is referring to that 2006 speech of Manmohan Singh, combining it with Rahul Gandhi's April 6 statement in Hyderabad about this wealth redistribution survey, and then hence leveling the allegation on the Congress, raising this question that is the Congress party trying to do a wealth redistribution survey which will transfer the wealth of Indians to specifically the minorities. Obviously, the Congress is saying that this is a lie. We have never said that very clearly. The manifesto doesn't say it, but it is, I think, Rahul Gandhi's statement on April 6 which has brought the Congress into trouble here, and that is what the Prime Minister is really attacking the Congress for.
Right, Aman. Please stay with us because we have Payal Mehta joining us live on the broadcast as well. Payal, a very good morning to you. Please help us understand this particular statement written by Amit Malviya that we will ensure that banks will provide institutional credit to minorities without discrimination. But at the same time, Prime Minister has taken a jibe at the opposition by mentioning the urban Naxals and, of course, the infiltrators.
Well, the Prime Minister in fact spoke about the fact that unlike the previous governments, which is the Congress government in particular, they had actually played a lot of appeasement politics. But his is the government which does not discriminate amongst people. So even if 80 crore ration is distributed to the public, it's done without any discrimination. If mudra loans are given out, it's done without any kind of discrimination. It's given to all strata of society. Sabka saath, sabka vikas and sabka vishwas is what Prime Minister speaks about the fact. And also recently in an interview to Newsweek, also he spoke about the fact that any Western biases towards the fact that minorities are suffering in India is completely coming out of bias, and that's not the reality as well. So that is something which the Prime Minister has really spoken about. He's also had engagements with various stratas of society, various minority units also, whether it's Christians, whether it's Jains or even Muslim units in the past also. So to assign any kind of motive to it is completely uncalled for, and the Prime Minister over there going on to say that there is no need for anybody to appease any community. And you've seen what the Congress party's manifestos in the past have also looked like, and like Prime Minister Narendra Modi has quoted Prime Minister Manmohan Singh essentially saying that the first adhikar of the country's wealth is going to be on a certain community. That is something which is completely uncalled for. That is a reflection of the Congress's mindset. That's something which the Prime Minister has really elaborated and said. And of course, you've seen BJP leaders jump up and really say that